Wait a minute, we've been here before. I'm not Norm Abram, but I want to welcome you to the first episode of This Old Gat. Stick around and I'll tell you what we're talking about here. So as you may recall, this is my 91-24 Carcano Moschetto Troupe Especial. This rifle originally served in World War I, World War II, and in police Pwnery service. My last video we did a preservation where we boiled all the metal and refinished all the wood gently with steel wool and denatured alcohol and a little bit of tung oil. But I've never been really happy with how this turned out. As you can see here, there's some pretty dark spots in the wood that I just couldn't get out. Most of the hate is right there. So after doing my Swiss 1889 video, I decided that it's my rifle. I could do whatever the heck I want with it. And I want to roll back this stock to basically 1 mile. Not all zeros, but 1 mile. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it all back apart, and today is only going to be refurbishment of the wood. And I will disclose that we will be using sandpaper, much to everyone's hate for ruining authenticity of the weapon. However, all the hate on this gun is here, and here, and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to sand the dark spots out, and I'm only going to steel wool the other side where there is almost no hate, as far as I can remember. There's a little bit at the toe, but we're not going to mess with any of the markings on the stock. They're all going to stay there. My goal is to finish all of this with Watco Danish oil, dark walnut, and then I will layer it with tung oil afterwards, which I've discovered if you put a thick enough coat of tung oil on, it turns into like a hard shell coating almost, as you probably saw in my Swiss 89 video. So give me a second here, and I'm going to take all this apart, which isn't actually that difficult. There's only about 16 parts to this gun. And we'll meet you back where we just have this piece of wood and this piece of wood. Before I start, I should remind you all to definitely use hollow ground screwdriver bits for gunsmithing. Don't use standard screwdriver bits. Otherwise you'll just cam out and destroy the heads, and then you'll have to go and either fix them or hit up Numeric and buy new ones, which I'm not going to do because all the screws are fine on this rifle. So give me a second, we'll go ahead and pull this apart, and then we'll get to the next step on the wood. Alright, so fast forward about 10 minutes, and this is where I'm at. Stock and forend, all the metal's taken off. There's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pieces to a Carcano if you take it out in big chunks. 13 if you count the barreled action, 14 and 15 is the stock and the handguard. So 15 pieces to a Carcano. Modularity is wonderful. So when I took the front band off, basically I just used that hammer and a plastic punch and just, you know, convinced it to come on out nice and easy. and then just used 2 different screwdriver bits for the big screws and little screws, and that was it. So some of this is going to look pretty familiar to you. We're just going to go ahead and take down this side that's got the markings with just 4/0 steel wool, just to scuff up the finish, open up the pores, yada yada yada. And then on this side here, because this has all of the hate and discontent, a little bit up here, a little bit right there, a little bit over here, we're going to hit it with 2, 4, and then if I'm really sick, 600 grit sandpaper, just to get it nice and smooth, try to get the color out. I'm going to try to hit it with the heat gun first to see if I can sweat some of that out, but if it doesn't, then we're going to go to the grit method. But next time you will see this, it will be slightly barer wood. It won't be completely bare wood, but it'll be slightly barer wood. As soon as that color comes out, I'm going to stop. And then we're going to hit it with this gorgeous stuff here. Thanks to Mark Novak at Anvil Gunsmithing and to See an Arsenal for suggesting it. But we'll go ahead and hit it with that. And then we'll go on with sealing afterwards. So let's get to work. Well, despite my best efforts, that's as clean as I can get it without really digging into the wood, which I'm not willing to do. So I guess these stains are going to be there forever. Hopefully that black walnut Danish oil will help blend some of this in a bit, but I guess if you saw it in person you would realize how much of it came out. A lot of the hate came out, not very much of it wanted to come out. Like right here. But I guess it is what it is. See, all the markings are still nice and clean. I stopped, that was my stop point right about here. As you can see, it's a bit lighter. And I touched up a little bit here. But some of this is obviously oil soak. I hit it with the heat gun a few times and it's just not coming up. So it's stained. It's just, it is what it is. But hopefully that will help blend it a little bit. I'll go ahead and apply it. Let it dry a few, maybe put a coat or two and see what happens. And I'll meet you back afterwards. Alright, you're going to have to pardon the compressor noise outside, but here it is. This is the stock. This was 3 coats of Watco Danish oil, followed up by 4 coats of tung oil. As you can see, I got that sheen I was looking for. It's got a bit of shine to it. It'll dull out once or twice after I rub it down, but after I did the Swiss rifle, I got really excited about the way it turned out. So I've just been letting it cook out in the sun. As you can see, some of the hate didn't come out. It's dark, but the Danish oil sort of blended with it, so it's not terrible. Yeah, there goes that compressor. Alright, so yeah, some of this didn't come out, but it blended pretty good, so I'm not really worried about it anymore. So in the next step, I'm going to get these back in the house, and I'm going to put this all back together, and you'll see the finished product. And that'll be the end of this old gat. Stay tuned. Pardon the dogs if you can hear them. Driving me crazy. It's life with 6 Yorkies. Alright, so there it is. All put back together. It only took a couple of hours and a couple of beers, and now she's all shiny. Pretty and nice. This was 3 coats of Watco Danish oil, followed by 4 coats of tung oil, and a little bit of work with the heat gun to kind of cure things up a little quicker. But yeah, I'm a lot happier with the way this turned out. I don't know if I can... It's hard to convey the finish, the sheen on this. It's a little bit bright, and it's a little bit hard and shiny, but all my rifles that I've done this to, they mellow out and calm down after a use or two. But some of the hate is still there, as you can see. Maybe you can't see, but it's still in there, but it's not as bad because the Danish oil sort of blended it a bit. But yeah, I mean, if you saw the before picture, how it was kind of dry and dull looking, and now it's a bit shinier. Like the wood looks happy. You know, everyone likes happy wood, right? So there's that. Just to show you that I didn't destroy the finish and ruin the value of my rifle or anything. So yeah, there's the original marking. Actually, it's sharper now that the tung oil reflects better. So that's factory Tierney, 1949, I believe, 48 or 49, 48. That's when it was re-arsenaled before it went to the Carabinieri. So yeah, my rifle's actually been through 2 wars and police service. Obviously that's not a period correct sling, but I didn't care because this is just a fun little conversation piece and shooter. So anyway, thank you for watching this old gat. And if you liked what I did here, then hit the old like button, maybe share it, maybe subscribe, maybe tell a friend. And you can still get these over at Bud's Gun Shop relatively cheap. And you don't have to get a perfect one, because if you have tools and you're not afraid to use them, you can end up with this. So there it is, 91-24 Carcano Moschetto Troupe Speciale, all cleaned up, all rust blued, and now I rolled the odometer back to 1 mile, essentially. But tell me what you think. If you want to see more stuff like this, just let me know, and I'll keep buying them. Thanks for watching.